Hi, it's Alex from This Open Travel here in the Alaska Lounge in Seattle. In today's video, this glass of milk has everything and nothing to do with where we're going. The first question is, what is the milk run? And to answer that, it's time for a little bit of geography. Canada is only 120 miles north of Seattle, but for those whose geography is not the greatest, Alaska is at the top left of the North Americas, having been sold by Russia to the USA in 1867 for the sum of $7.2 million, and is home to a collection of small villages and towns, whose only line of transport is by boat or plane. In the 1930s, a vital airlink was set up to serve the population between Seattle and Anchorage, some 1,435 miles northwest of Seattle, transporting milk, medicines, supplies, and people. Today's flight departs Seattle at 8:45, and the TSA border was reasonable. Not great, but reasonable. So I have enough time to grab a quick snack in Alaska's very impressive and large lounge in the end gates. I particularly like this lounge because of the variety of the seating and how comfortable it seems. It's sort of similar to Finnair's in Helsinki. And all the staff were really warm and welcoming, and even complimented me on my winter warm red coat. Alaska has done really well to break up the space using a variety of different seating types, walls and a manned coffee station, and in the far corner is a full bar service, but as you can imagine, demand for alcoholic drinks was low to non-existent this time in the morning. Alaska doesn't operate any long-haul flights, so they can be forgiven for a slightly simple meal service. They've gone for easy tasty items, bagels, yogurts and muffins. After finding a comfortable corner, with some exceptional views, I found sustenance with a yogurt and granola, a glass of milk, and boiled eggs and cheese. What an unusual breakfast. Oh, and a cereal bar. I've even spotted today's special Boeing 737 livery plane that will depart Seattle at 8:05, covering 667 miles for the town of Ketchikan, before taking off again for Wrangell, touching down at 10:53, departing on leg number 3 for Petersburg James Johnson, before our final journey to Juneau, which is the capital of Alaska. Here are the 4 stops from Seattle to Juneau, with a departure time from each, and the distance to the next airport. We best get this show on the road because the jet lag is crippling, and that's because the UK is 8 hours behind. By the time I get to Juneau, I'll either be fast asleep or crying in a corner. But today's livery is that it's called the Salmon livery. That's because it's to celebrate local culture and indigenous population. But we will discuss that more on board, because there's a special brochure in the seat back pocket. Today I'll be riding on a Boeing 737-890 variant, which is looking pretty good considering the average age for these is 15 years. I pre-selected using my One World Emerald status seat 15F, which gives me 2 full windows. Nice. I'm determined not to make the same mistake I made with Gol in Brazil and ended up with barely one. The weather was pretty poor, but this would turn out to be the least of my worries.
So please report any unwelcome behavior to a crew member. For security reasons, no line may form at the forward lavatory.
Sometimes I think how extremely cool it would be to dispatch planes. Then I remembered how crap the weather is in winter, and it's far too warm in the summer. Starting the journey in Seattle gave me a chance to see this more to love special livery, and a pair of Amazon Airbus A330s. After reaching a safe cruising altitude, the cabin crew gave out a pack containing 2 Biscoff biscuits, delicious, and a complimentary drink. A lady then suddenly appeared and asked, "Would you like a chocolate?" How could I say no? Seeing that no one else got one, I asked, "Why?" And she said, "Oh, because you fly a lot." I smiled and laughed and then went back to my biscuits and the cranberry juice. I'll save the seat tour for the next leg to Wrangell, but in the meantime, let's check out the onboard Wi-Fi and the entertainment. Simply turn on your Wi-Fi, press on Alaska, and then get started. Here's the home page. Pressing the little arrow on the top right, this will give you the weather report. And closing this and scrolling down, you'll see the in-flight map. Scroll down again and you can check out the free content. Plenty of new releases. And as you can see, I've been binge watching comedy The Good Place. Alaska also provide complimentary free Wi-Fi messaging. No photos. Otherwise their Wi-Fi packages start at $8. 4 episodes later, and I got hungry as we began our approach to Ketchikan. Once we get on the ground, passengers for Ketchikan can disembark, and then someone in the high-vis will come on board to confirm the correct passengers are still on the plane. This is also the perfect time to visit the bathroom. Your eyes do not deceive you. The lighting is a tiny bit on the yellow side. Perhaps that's to hide things, who knows. Otherwise the bathroom was very clean, if not a little underwhelming. And now it's back to my seat as we prepare to take off for the next destination, Wrangell. At only 83 miles away, with a journey time of 44 minutes, and that includes takeoff and landing, we'll belly into the sky for more than 20 minutes. The leather-backed seats in economy are very comfortable, and that's probably because the seat pitch, that's the distance from the seat in front to the back of yours, is 31 inches, with a width, which is pretty average, of 17 inches. Each seat gets a reading light and air nozzle, but these are really showing the plane's age. Alaska did, however, upgrade the lighting, which gives a more natural light, and they can even change the colour for nicer ambience. Sadly, this plane has seen better days, because the second window appeared to be jammed a third of the way down. The wall also seemed to be a little bit unhealthy cosmetically. The tray table was efficient, modern, with a slide function, and it appeared to be clean. And there's a useful pull down above this to place your mobile phone on while you're watching a movie. That's so handy. In addition, there's a universal plug socket and a USB-A to charge your devices. The leg room was pretty good, and at no point during the 5-hour journey did I feel uncomfortable. I love how culturally intertwined Alaskan is with the local population, and the culture and this special livery. Feel free to pause the video to reread the information. Due to the short duration of the next 2 flights, there's no meal or drink service, but very soon this would be the least of my worries. The in-flight magazine heavily promotes their Miles Reward credit card, but inside there's a nice selection of food offerings. The end of flight number 2 was coming to an end, as we began to approach Wrangell.
Welcome to Wrangell, it is 10:30. Please keep your seatbelts on. Our pilots will turn off the seatbelt sign when it is safe to get up. We do ask that you leave your things where they are until we reach the gate. However, if your cell phone is closed, you may take it out of airplane mode.
All was fine until I suddenly realised we were 20 minutes delayed. Then comes on the captain who advises there's a technical fault with the plane that they are trying to rectify. We were due to leave at 11:40, but it suddenly dawned on me it was 12:30. At this point, we were given the option to get off the plane and have a stroll around. Yes, please.
So basically the plane's sort of broke in the minute, waiting for a mechanic to come in on the next flight. But in the meantime you've been allowed to get off, and who wouldn't want to see this landscape?
The terminal is absolutely tiny, so instead of staying around, I've decided to take a 30-minute walk into the town of Wrangell in search of food.
So literally, rather than just wait on the plane, I've gone downtown, it's about a half an hour drive, and I found some really good chips and hamburger. It's really life-changing here because it is so quiet, it's so chilled, and the people are so nice. I had a really, really good burger. The flight got delayed. They didn't say anything until about 12 o'clock, which is about 20 minutes after the flight should have departed. And then the captain comes on and basically says that there's a mechanical fault, so we're like, okay, they're working on it. Half an hour later's gone by. And unfortunately it turns out that they need another part, they can't fix it. So a mechanic is coming up on the 3:26 arrival. Obviously this is 12:30, so you've got 3 hours to kill. And the choice is given, do you want to stay on the plane or do you want to get off? And I think I can't stay on there for 3 hours and then have the rest of the flight.
Returning to the terminal, things had changed, and despite the engineer arriving about 3:30, Alaskan was now sending an empty plane to pick us up, with a new departure time of 1600.
It may be dark, but after 5 hours, back on the plane.
What was a surprise is having got on the new plane, the original crew was still on board. I felt really sorry for them because they had no choice in the matter. The pilots, on the other hand, had timed out, so had been put up in a hotel for the night, hence the new plane being sent straight to Wrangell.
So it's a slightly different plane, it's a 700, but after 5 hours, although that was an incredible stop, I'm so glad to be back on the plane.
With the sun having set, that's the end of my filming. We eventually took off at 16:20 with a very low load of passengers, with quite a few of them having chosen to get the boat instead. When we arrived in Juneau, I couldn't wait to get off the plane.
Thanks so much, have a good evening. Cheers. So it truly is unfortunate that yesterday there was that delay at Wrangell, but Wrangell was such a nice experience and I'm so pleased I got to go there. It's just a shame we didn't get to see the 4 takeoffs and the 4 landings. In terms of the flight, it is absolutely exhausting. I can't tell you enough, because every time you stop there's like 45 minutes of waiting, disembarking, loading bags, taking them off again. You can do different routes, so you can stop in different places. On the return journey I'm stopping in Wrangell, but also somewhere else, I can't remember off the top of my head. But it's highly recommended, and you get to be somewhere like this, like Juneau, which is just absolutely phenomenal.